I'm going to read. I don't think I could finish the whole story in 5 minutes, and I hate reading prose really fast. So I've got vignettes in this book, which you can still buy online if you'd like, or at the book festival the whole weekend. I have these vignettes as kind of chapter dividers. I stole this idea from a really famous writer. If you know who did it, just yell it out while I'm reading. So I'm going to read like 3 or 4 of them. Ray pushes himself backwards with his hands and his good leg until he is propped against the rear wall of the liquor store. The wall-mounted air conditioner, the sports struts of which he bent with the blunt side of an axe, had fallen out of its frame directly onto his left foot and crushed it. He can feel the bones in his ruined foot moving around, touching and grinding against each other. He can feel the blood running out of his foot and soaking his sock and shoe. He says, "Help," as though he is talking to someone standing directly in front of him. His voice sounds strange to him. He can't remember a time when he's talked to himself like this, alone in the dark. He says, "Help," again this time, louder, but he knows there is no help. He knows that this is the first bad night of many bad ones to come. He decides he's done talking. He couldn't believe how easily it had gone down. In the mornings after chow was served, the work release guys, who were only there on Saturdays and Sundays, were allowed to walk out into the yard and play basketball or smoke or stand around. They weren't going anywhere, so the guards didn't pay any attention to them. The rest of the inmates had to head back to their cells or sit in the rec room playing cards and watching Wheel of Fortune until lunch. One Sunday morning, he put a fresh white t-shirt that he lifted from the laundry room and rolled it up in his blanket as tightly as he could and pushed it in the waistband of his dark green jumpsuit. Then he buttoned up and walked to the cafeteria with the rest of his cell block. When he was done eating breakfast, he pulled the top half of his jumpsuit down and tied the arms around his waist and started for the door. He fell in step with 2 weekend prisoners who were headed to the yard and walked through the door alongside them. No one stopped him. Once outside, he went directly to the lowest part of the fence where a guard was normally standing and unfurled the blanket and tossed it over a section of the sagging barbed wire. Then he was on the other side, running towards the woods. He ran with his head down. The arms of his jumpsuit came undone and flat behind him. It sounded like a flag waving in the wind, he thought. He remembered a time something like this had happened. He was running to catch the school bus and the sweatshirt he tied around his waist fell off. He turned back and grabbed the sweatshirt off the street and made it to the bus.